I'd like to call to order the City Council meeting for Wednesday, January 17th, 2018. Please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Martha, please call roll.
Flora?
Here.
Thank you. Inman?
Here.
Crane?
Here.
Quinn?
Here.
Rothrock?
Here.
Schlossmacher?
Here.
Thomas?
Here.
Thank you.
Tonight, I am pleased to put forward the recommendation of Ken Davis for appointment as Councilmember Ward 4. Ken was selected following an interview process, and members of that interview team included Councilmember Quinn, Councilmember Flora, Susie Gibbs, Laura Smith, and myself. And we unanimously recommend his appointment. I would entertain a motion to confirm this appointment.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and we have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are affirmed. So, Martha, will you administer the oath, please?
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear and affirm
I do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Kansas,
the Constitution of the State of Kansas,
and the laws and ordinances of the City of Mission,
and the laws and ordinances of the City of Mission,
and faithfully discharge my duties as council member
and faithfully discharge the duties of my role as council member
of the City of Mission,
of the
Kansas.
City of Mission, Kansas.
Congratulations.
Thank you very, very much.
I would like to thank Ken for stepping up and applying and being a part of the process, and also would like to thank Ken and welcome him onto the City Council. His experience as a council member, as a mayor, as a community leader will allow him to easily transition into his new role. After reviewing his resume, his credentials, and his experience, the interview committee unanimously was unanimous in advancing the recommendation to appoint Ken to the full council, knowing that he will do an outstanding job for the City of Mission. Ken, would you like to recognize anybody and make a few comments?
Yes. Okay. I'd like to first of all introduce my wife, Dr. Cheryl Carpenter Davis, who's in the back. comments are going to be brief. First of all, I'm honored to join the Mission City Council and serve for the remainder of Mayor Ron Appletoft's Ward 4 vacant term of office ending 12/31/2020. This is also symbolic of a full participation of Countryside subdivision as the Mission neighborhood since its consolidation 15 years ago this month. And so I welcome the opportunity to represent Ward 4 together with Councilmember Flora and commit to do my very best to serve this great city. So thank you very much, and thank all of you.
Thank you, Ken. All right, next up, public hearing, and we do not have any public hearings this evening, so we'll move on to special presentations. I'd like to recognize Battalion Chief Doug Gibson with Consolidated Fire District Number 2. He's with us tonight to provide us an update on a recent fire in Mission. Chief Lopez had wanted to be here, but he was unable to attend, so we have the privilege of having Battalion Chief Gibson.
Thank you for the opportunity to share with you briefly about what we have done for your city here in this past week. Actually, we had a fire call up at Silverwood Apartments on January 8th. And the call initially came in at 7:18 p.m. and it came in as a fire on the stove. And as the units arrived there, Mission PD was already on the scene, and they had put a dry chemical extinguisher on the fire prior to our arrival, and people were already evacuating out of this one complex unit at 5100 Fox Ridge. There were a total of 6 units that ended up involved with fire damage, water damage, or smoke damage. Okay, so upon our arrival at the scene, the initial size up was nothing showing. Okay, so that means that we did not see any great amount of smoke or fire as we arrived on the scene. The truck pulled there in front of the units. The initial crews then went inside and quickly discovered we had another small issue. Okay, the fire had grown into the cabinets, going through the walls, into the duct system, and so we pulled the line and then made an interior fire attack. So that would be crews from truck 21 and the engine 21. 2 other units from station 46 responded as well, and as I arrived on the scene, we do something commonly called a 360. You want to walk all the way around the structure to get a good identity of what is going on. And from the back side of the building, or we call it side C, we could see that there was a great volume of smoke pushing out of the duct system, so we knew we still continued to have an issue. So the crews from Station 46 then were told to force a door on the back side, and they did that, and inside they found another unit full of fire. Now, they were doing some repairs at this particular unit, so as the fire got into the cabinets, into the wall, and the ductwork pushed its way over, they had a 4x8 piece of plywood cut out of the floor, which, if you think about that, that allowed for a nice chimney effect for the fire and the smoke to continue and go right up into the upstairs unit. So, made the things a little bit more complicated, but all in all, after they were able to gain access there in the unit upstairs, we were able to put the fire under control about actually 1 hour later, and the fire out at 8:43. So all in all, a little bit under a $500,000 loss at Silverwood Apartments, 1 unit, fire confined to 1 building, standalone building. Any questions? Comments?
We appreciate your work, what you guys do.
You're welcome. We're glad it wasn't the first. The first was about 10 degrees. Big difference between 10 and 32. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. We do not have any notes or bonds on our agenda this evening, so we'll move to the consent agenda. Our consent agenda does have 2 items tonight. If a council member, staff, or member of the public wants anything removed from the consent agenda, this is the time to do that. Is there anybody that wants an item removed from the consent agenda? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve.
Mayor, I move the City Council adopt the consent agenda as printed, items 3A and 3B.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's approved. Community committee reports. If anybody has questions regarding one of our community committees, you may ask staff or bring it up under new business. Next is public comments. This is an opportunity for any member of the public to comment on an item that is not on the agenda. Does anybody want to make a comment that's not on the agenda? Seeing none, we move on to action items, and we don't have any action items from the Planning Commission tonight, so we are at committee reports. Councilmember Schlossmacher, would you please provide a report on the Finance and Administration Committee?
Thank you, Mayor. There's one item tonight on the Finance and Administration Committee report. It's item number 6A, about the city stance on the 2018 legislative program. So each year, the city adopts policies and priorities for the upcoming state legislative session. This document is helpful in communicating the city's general position to our legislators. Additional issues or concerns may be addressed throughout the session as bills are introduced. The 2018 program includes some issues that have been adopted by the county and agreed to by most Johnson County cities. At the committee meeting, several additional issues were also discussed for potential inclusion in this document. These include clarification of language concerning the tax lid issue, opposition to any constitutional amendment that would remove the state's obligation to adequately and equitably fund K-12 education, support of the development of a coordinated and comprehensive statewide energy policy, support of increased federal and state funding to assist local communities with infrastructure, and restoring local gun control so that cities have the ability to regulate and enforce the possession and use of weapons within city-owned facilities. The legislative program presented for consideration includes these amendments discussed at the committee meeting. Mayor, I move the City Council adopt the 2018 legislative program for the City of Mission with the amendments presented at the January 10th, 2018 Finance and Administration Committee meeting.
Second.
Motion is second. Any comments?
Yep, I have a comment on the last item there that they were wanting to include, restoring the local gun control. I'd like to see that particular amendment stricken from inclusion in our presentation there.
And I also would concur with you, Pat, on that one. As we discussed kind of at our last meeting, I don't really see that this solves any kind of problem. I know we're not taking any kind of legislative action at this point, but the state has gun control laws that are in place, and it's tough to expect somebody who's gone through the process of getting a gun permit, being able to own one, to know, which cities have different rules that they have to abide by and what those might be. And I'm just not a big fan of that language either. So.
I would note that I disagree with the councilman and would like to note that last year the city passed unanimously very similar language supporting local gun control regulation. Again, this isn't about the substance of gun control, it's about who should have a say in this matter. And I think our city should be able to say what's going on in our public buildings and facilities, and that's what this is limited to.
All right, to remove this item, I believe we have to have a motion to amend. So we have such a motion.
I would make a motion to amend, to remove that item, the restoring local gun control item.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second.
Do you have any further discussion on the amendment?
I too support local control over as many facets of government that we can get, and I think the city did pass the ordinance acknowledging that the city knows its community and its practices best, so I will be voting no on that as well.
And I think to be clear to everybody, this is not any kind of ordinance or any changes to any current laws. It's just a stance on our, I guess, how we feel about the legislation as a city. So it's our official position to the state.
Well, and I think very specifically how we feel about our ability to regulate guns in our facilities, not necessarily citywide, but within our public facilities. So it's that scope is, I think, as Councilmember Flores said, limited to our city facilities.
Yeah, but I might also add that we do have the ability to regulate firearms in our facilities. It's just that it would cost money to city to do that, and they wanted to spend that kind of money, I could support that, but without that, I don't think we need to do anything different than what the state already has, and the state has that in place where we can control that locally.
We heard from the chief last week at the committee meetings and from Laura that that would be cost prohibitive to the city, is my understanding. So it's not really a feasible option, I don't think, in considering this issue.
Yeah, I guess you have to weigh that out. You know, it's cost prohibitive unless it's that important to you. If it was important enough, you would spend the money on it, as you would with any safety issue or whatever. Councilmember Davis?
Just a question, is this not included in the action, legislative action of the League of Municipalities?
Well, this is formulating our position on a lot of the things that are in the legislative guide from the League of Municipalities. So it's not us doing anything official or making any changes. It's just here's our city's position on these issues.
And this position is, having this in the language is consistent with the league's position on this issue.
It's an issue of home rule, isn't that?
Yeah.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, let's have a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oh, I'm sorry, we're going to have to roll.
And vote on, this is on the amendment.
Right. To remove, so let's restate. So
Yes.
it's on the amendment to strike the fifth bullet on our agenda, talking about restoring local gun control.
Inman.
Nay.
Flora.
Nay.
Davis.
Nay.
Thomas.
Nay.
Kring.
Nay.
Quinn.
Aye.
Rothrock.
Aye.
Schlossmacher.
Aye.
Motion fails.
All right, then we are back to our original motion. And we do have any other discussion on the original motion, which is to approve the legislative platform. Seeing none, please take a vote.
Flora.
Aye.
Quinn.
Nay.
Inman.
Aye.
Kring.
Aye.
Davis.
Aye.
Schlossmacher.
Nay.
Thomas.
Aye.
Rothrock.
Nay.
Motion carries.
Anything else from the Finance and Administration Committee?
That concludes our report from the Finance and Administration Committee, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Community Development, Councilmember Inman.
Thank you, Mayor. There's nothing to report from the Community Development Committee.
All right, thank you. We do not have any unfinished business this evening, and we do not have any new business this evening. So item number 9 on our agenda are comments from the City Council. This is an opportunity from comments from our City Council members. Does anybody have anything they would like to share? Councilmember Craig.
This actually went under new business before, so I guess it's just under council now.
Okay.
We will have a Ward 3 meeting tomorrow evening at the Community Center at 7 p.m. All are invited. Councilmember Inman and I will bring cookies and we'll have coffee, so all come. Secondly, I just want to mention how fortunate we are to have phenomenal departments, but in particular, in the last 3 weeks, there have been several incidents that have happened, whether it be on I-35 or somewhere in the realm of the community. And in the measuring of transparency, our police chief has kept us informed throughout the time, within several hours of the time of an event. And it's been so helpful to know not only what's going on, and we'll maintain confidentiality where needed, but it's really important to know, like, this street is not passable right now because there's an accident ongoing. Very transparent, and in this craziness within communities and communication across the board, he has brought salvency to this particular community, and I'm very proud to commend Captain Chief Hadley and the police force for keeping us informed of what's going on. It's been so beneficial, and I know all cities don't do that, so thank you so much.
And going off of Debbie real quick, I just want to thank John and your entire Public Works team for keeping up with all of the crazy weather and ups and downs. I know that my neighborhood in particular, we have one of the biggest hills in Mission, and we've had no issues. So thank you for keeping up with that.
I don't know what it is, but always decides to snow on weekends and holidays, so.
Right.
everybody's feeling that a little bit, but thank you very much. Really appreciate it, and I'll be sure to pass it along.
Any other comments?
Yeah, I've got one. I'd like to thank my Minnesota Vikings for giving me the most exciting football game I've seen in my lifetime.
Were you there?
I was there.
Did you imbibe that evening?
I don't remember.
All right, next we have the mayor's report, and we have some appointments this evening. So we have several reappointments to consider for our various boards and commissions, and we do appreciate the efforts by our community volunteers. It makes our community what it is. So we have, first up, we have the Parks, Recreation, and Tree Commission, and we have the reappointment of Karen Capron, Ward 2, Donica Short, Ward 2, Nathan Dormer, Ward 3, David Schwenk, Ward 3, Aaron Beaslin, Ward 4, and Jackie Gamison, Ward 4. I would put the reappointments of these individuals before you. Motion.
Mayor, I move the City Council hold the reappointments of Karen Capron, Donica Short, Nathan Dormer, David Schwenk, Aaron Beaslin, and Jackie Gamison to the Parks, Recreation, and Tree Commission with terms expiring December 31st, 2019.
Second.
We have a motion and second. Any discussion? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Flora,
Aye.
Inman,
Aye.
Kring,
Aye.
Quinn,
Aye.
Rothrock,
Aye.
Schlosmacher,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Thomas.
Aye.
Motion
All
carries.
right. Next up, we have our Sustainability Committee and reappointment of Terry Ball, Ward 1, Sean Partain, Ward 2, David Greenlee, Ward 3, and John Arnett, Ward 4. Do we have a motion?
Mayor, I move the City Council uphold the reappointments of Terry Ball, Sean Partain, David Greenlee, and John Arnett to the Sustainability Commission with terms expiring December 31st, 2019.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, please call roll.
Davis,
Aye.
Quinn,
Aye.
Rothrock,
Aye.
Inman,
Aye.
Flora,
Aye.
Kring,
Aye.
Thomas,
Aye.
Schlosmacher.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, next we have the appointment of city officials. These appointments are called for in our ordinances. I put before you tonight the following appointments. Keith Drill as Municipal Court Judge, Jeffrey Austin, David Bell, and Peter Simonson as Municipal Court Judges Pro Tem.
Mayor, I move the City Council uphold the appointments of Keith Drill as Municipal Court Judge, Jeffrey Austin, David Bell, and Peter Simonson as Municipal Court Judges Pro Tem.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion. Seeing none, please call roll.
Thomas,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Schlosmacher,
Aye.
Rothrock,
Aye.
Quinn,
Aye.
Kring,
Aye.
Inman,
Aye.
Flora.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Finally, each year we appoint third-party advisors and consultants who assist us on various projects throughout the year. I put before you tonight the following appointments. Gilmore and Bell as bond counsel, Ellers Incorporated as financial advisor, and Pete Heaven with Spencer Fain as land use attorney. Is there a motion?
Mayor, I move that the City Council uphold the following appointments with contracts expiring January 16, 2019 for Gilmore and Bell, Bond Counsel, Ellers Inc., Financial Advisor, Pete Haven, Spencer Fain for Land Use Attorney.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, please call roll.
Davis,
Aye.
Schlosmacher,
Aye.
Rothrock,
Aye.
Quinn,
Aye.
Flora,
Aye.
Thomas,
Aye.
Inman,
Aye.
Kring.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. With the full governing body now being seated, and since there has been turnover, we need to elect a city council vice president, as well as vice chair of finance and administration and vice chair of community development. If you have interest in any of these positions, I would say contact Councilmember Pat Quinn for the vice chair, talk to him about that. Councilmember Schlosmacher on finance administration, and Councilmember Inman on community development. It is my intent that we would address this at the February 21st council meeting. Next, City Administrator's Report, Ms. Smith.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Just one quick item. I hope you all noted on the calendar in the City Administrator's Report, we have scheduled a work session for January 31st, where we will be doing kind of a role of the Planning Commission and Council and how you interact. It will be just for the Council, but Pete Heaven will be presenting that and just reacquainting us all with our roles and responsibilities as it relates to planning and zoning issues. So if you have questions that you would like to have answered specifically, please feel free to send those to me in advance. Pete does have a presentation, but he's always willing to incorporate or accommodate those questions. With that, we would typically be scheduled for that work session at 7. If we have an interest in doing it early, we probably need to make a motion and move that up. I know he's available as early as 6:30, so I'll leave that up to the discretion of the council, but
Just
I don't know what your pleasure is.
7 or earlier.
Whatever.
Whichever is
Okay, why don't we go ahead and leave it at 7?
7, okay, we can do that. And I think that's all I have this evening, Mayor.
All right.
Thank you.
We do not have an executive session tonight, and that brings us to there being no further business. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
motion to adjourn. Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.
Good job, Louise.